Alright, what is up guys, it's Zero here, and before we take a look at any fish decks, I figure I'd cover at least one more deck from the previous set, and the deck that I'm choosing to cover today will be Scharhrot, EI, whatever you want to call it, and I think this is probably, out of all the decks from the last set, is probably the last of the playable decks that I have not covered. I think the decks that I'll probably not cover, but if you guys really want to see it, let me down below in the comments. Being Asha and Alt Mile are, in my opinion, probably the two worst decks from the set, and I don't think I'm going to bother covering them, so I guess if you really want to see them, let me know down below, but today we're here to take a look at Scharhrot, and honestly, this deck is, it's pretty solid. I wouldn't call it like super good, but this deck definitely can cheese out wins very well. I call it cheese, but that's realistically the whole deck's win condition, so is it really cheese? But yeah, so without further ado, let's take a look at the list. And for those who didn't read the comments and wondering where Scharhrot in the last one's tier list, I just forgot about it. But I think this deck is like it's a very solid like playable tier 2 kind of deck in my opinion. But yeah, so we'll actually get onto the list now. So my starter of choice is this new guy. I have no idea what half of these things names are, so bear with me as per usual. So but this guy's skill is GB1 Darkness. Put him into soul, the cost is put him into soul and retire one of your rear guards. Choose two grade 1 or higher units with the darkness ability from your soul and add them to your hand. So he basically trades himself plus another card for basically two of any card in your soul, realistically speaking. But he's pretty essential to the deck's final kill turn, because he basically guarantees you the two rears that you really want on the board on your kill turn. Being this dude, I think his name is Baleful Repressor, I think. His one name I remember, but yeah, basically he lets you just tutor stuff. Obviously he can grab you your PGs as well, you can grab your shred fodder, he can grab you a bunch of other stuff, and because of that I am playing him as a starter over the draw 2 guy. I think the draw 2 is pretty good too, the one where it's when you're I think it's like when you're something like, I think it's like when your Vanguard appears, so basically when you stride, you can put him into soul and put him and everything else on your board to draw into soul to draw 2. I was playing for a while, but with what this deck is trying to do, I think this starter is a lot better. That's it for the zeros. And the ones are basically still the same thing as the decks has always been. I think your best grade 1s in the deck are still these 4 cards, because you remember my first Scharhrot video that I did like months ago. My grade 1s are still the same. I don't remember the ratios, but the actual cards themselves were definitely still the same cards. I think these are still your best ones. I think ratios are completely up to preference between these, aside from PGs obviously, but yeah, 3 of the Shred Fodder that can actually start Scharhrot, 2 back row intercepts, just nice sometimes to have them, and 4 of the Were-Tiger Jaeger. He's in soul. You can when he's put into soul by an effect, you can CB1 to draw 1, and then you have 6 or more soul, you can CB1 discard a card and charge 1, and then if you have 10 or more, he goes to hand as well, and then he's in hand, he is Stride Fodder as well. So pretty good versatile card, and we're still playing this PG. I think this one is still the best PG in my opinion. The other PG, there's a new PG which I don't fully remember what it does, but I remember that like it binded itself or something to add a copy to hand. So and it costed a CB. So I think this one's overall still better. I think this one just has overall more utility. That's why we're still playing this one. So grade 1 still the same from last time, from months ago. But yeah, these are just very solid grade 1s overall. So still playing these ones. And as for grade 2s, we are still playing Gwyn the Ripper, CB2, retire rear. Still pretty good, retire grade 2 or lower rear, I think, yeah. Still pretty good. This deck, on your kill turn, which is the Blade or Mouse usually, you don't actually have a source of retire in front row, so Gwyn is appreciated. 4 of this dude. On place, check top 7, add any card from one with the darkness ability and add to your soul, so you know, jam stuff in your soul, very good. 3 of this guy, which I did talk about earlier. I think his name is the Baleful Repressor, but his skill is GB2 Darkness. If you have, when this unit attacks, if you have 8 or more soul, this unit gets plus 10k and your opponent can guard grade 0. So this guy by himself will swing for 19, which is a really good number already, because that hits over like just hits over defensives really well. And opponent not being able to guard with grade 0s means that if you flip stands, which if you've noticed, we were playing 9 stands in this deck. You will stand him and you can check with him multiple times. So yeah, he's very good for his guard restrict, and one of the key pieces you need for the deck. We're only playing 3 of it because we have ways to just get them into soul. And finally, the new grade 2 we got, and probably the best grade 2 in the deck, is this Succubus. I'd assume she's a succubus, but her skill is Van Rear. On play, if your Vanguard has our Darkness ability, look at top 5 and choose for up to two grade 1 or higher units with the Darkness ability and put it into your soul. So she checks for less cards as opposed to this guy, but she can add more to soul. So you add more, already fueling more soul. So, and because of that, I think she's a really good, and she works on Van as well. So she, if you ride her, she still procs. So I think it's very, very nice. And that's what we're playing 4 of her. And that's it for the grade 2s. And finally, for the triggers, we were playing 4 heals. And then for the rest, 4 heal guards. I still think heal guards are pretty necessary for this. And because the trigger we want to be recycling the most was stand, so that's why we were playing the one that can actually basically technically do triggers. We can put triggers back is the chariot. We are playing the chariot on stand because again we want to recycle stand. And his skill, if you don't know what he does, is Van Rear on place. You add a copy of him, the grade 2 carriage, and the grade 1 bike to the deck. So helps you not deck out, but more importantly, he puts a stand trigger into the deck. So it's very, very nice. And first effect, basically, it comes out sometimes if you have 3 or more bikes, or 3 or more chariots, and so he gets a crit, and then he gets +2k per every chariot in the soul. So yeah, mainly here just to recycle more stands and stuff. So that's pretty good. Chariot is basically just a staple in DI. No matter what list you're playing, no matter what trigger you're playing on, you're probably playing Chariot, and that's no different here. And then as for the rest of them, we're playing one of the Scharhrot number 2. He's the second Scharhrot. He's just a backup ride. I don't actually remember what he does, but yeah, he's a solid enough backup ride that's like a fine one of. But our new main ride is Scharhrot number 3. This is the 3rd Scharhrot, and I do not know his name out there. So, but his skill is Darkness. At the end of your turn, you can choose one of your rear guards and put it into your soul. Then if you choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Then if you have 8 or more soul, you return 3 random cards from your drop zone back to the deck and countercharge 1. So this is like your recycle effect. And the best thing of this is that this first skill is actually not tied to GB. So if you go first, and as long as you have some way to actually get the darkness requirement, so usually it's like her or him, one of these two. If you go first and you slam one of those 2 down, you can actually use this skill to like retire something or like put something back. 8 soul on before first ride is probably not gonna happen a lot of the times, but sometimes you just like high roll a bunch of ways to get soul, and it actually does happen. So you do get to recycle in CC, but this skill being able to help you retire back row before first ride is actually pretty cool. So that is to note that the skill is actually not tied behind GB or anything. And it has other skills on stride. So Soul Blast, Soul Charge 2. So not Soul Blast, Soul Charge 2. Then you can choose one card. Then you actually no, now you can. You have to choose one card with the Darkness ability from your soul at your hand. Then you may choose one card from your hand and put it into your soul. So basically Soul Charge 2. Then you have to add one card from your soul with the Darkness ability to your hand. And then optional, you can put one card from hand into soul. So pretty good. Stride all the other shards, stride bonus, if I remember correctly, were like not pluses. They were just soul. So actually pretty nice that this one is actually just a +1 on stride every single time, so pretty good there. And then the usual on play +3k. So the Scharhrot, definitely the best of the 3 Scharhrots, and definitely why we are playing it as our main ride. So that's it for the main deck, and onwards to the G zone. So as you see here, I actually don't think this is optimal at all. I think ideally you have an extra playset of either the Balaam or the Blader Mouse over one of the Gilded Reyes, either or. I would probably say you'd probably rather have an extra set of Blader Mouses, probably, but Balaam's pretty good too, so I guess whichever one you have more of, you end up having more of, is the one you want more playsets of. I've definitely never gone to both of the Gilded Reyes, so no reason to have an actual playset of these. I just don't have an extra playset of either of these two, so yeah. So if you want optimal, add an extra, take out one pair of Gilded Reyes, and put in either an extra pair of Balaam or an extra pair of Blader Mouses. But for the G zone, we are playing the Harmonics, the Scharhrot Stride, which is pretty bad. But he does have the niche of being the board wipes, so there's that, I guess. But yeah, this guy board wipes, but he sucks in your farm as well. And since we're not playing Assassin as a starter, we can't actually loop combos with it or anything, so that kind of sucks. And sometimes the board wipe is still needed, so that's why we're playing the one of, because he's not a G-flip. Playing Gilded Rey, he gets a crit, he gets glory, pretty solid. The one paired will come up sometimes, but I don't think I've ever gone to both pairs, so That's why I would recommend swapping one of these pairs out for something else. We're playing one of this guy. I have no idea what his name is. I don't even know what he does, to be honest. I know he like gives power and like soul charges and adds a great 3 from soul to hand, I think, something like that, and he flips anything. So cool, just a one of. Yeah, just a one of. No, it's not amazing. I see people going to this guy first try all the time, but realistically, I think your first try should almost always be this new guy, the Balaam. So his skill is, once per turn, CB1G persona flip, and choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it, and then he gets power equal to the power of the card you retired, and then for every face-up card in your G zone, you can soul charge 2, and then he gains the following ability when this unit attacks: draw 1, drive +1. So he gets quad drive as well, so that's pretty cool. And you draw 1, so that's pretty nice. And then GB3, it's you have 13 or more soul, darkness, glory restrict. So because I only have one pair, and I'll basically always going for this thing as first try. This second skill for me is irrelevant, but again, if you have an extra pair, you should play it, and that might be relevant for you. But very good first try because he gets you retire, so you can actually push for damage. He gets you soul if you need it. He's an extra draw 1, which is really nice as well, and he's an extra drive, so an extra drive means extra hits from stance. So overall, just a really solid card, obviously. So yeah, very good card. I recommend at least one playset of this card. Heck, I think you need at least one playset of this card. So yeah, that's that. And then finally, our win condition of the deck is the Blader Mouse. So his skill is GB2 darkness once per turn. When this unit attacks, if you have 10 or more soul and darkness, CB1 and G persona flip and choose 2 cards from your hand and put it into your soul, and then return all trigger units from your board and your soul back to the deck. Choose 2 units to give plus 5k, so van or rear, and then at the end of that battle, restand him, draw 1, and he gets a crit and drive -2. So he's a restander, is the obvious part of this, but he also recycles every trigger in your soul and your board. So because we were playing 9 stand, the goal of this is, once we're on second stride, ideally points at 4 or 5, and then you go into Blader Mouse, and then you recycle all your stands, and you have 2 of this guy, and then you hope you drive check your stands, basically. And since the stands go back, the triggers go back on attack, your first set of triple drives will actually have those triggers in the deck while drive checking. So more often than not, on your Blader Mouse turn, you'll check at least 1 stand, unless you're super unlucky or your stands are everywhere but in your soul and hand. So and yeah, so your ideal end board is like Blader Mouse plus 2 of this guy, and then you go like a rear, van, and then van puts a bunch of stands back, and then you restand the rears, and then the rears go in as well. So that's the whole like gimmick, and that's the whole cheese of the deck. So yeah, that's for that. And then finally, we're playing the Dust. I have it, so I'll play it. I definitely do not think it's mandatory at all whatsoever. Yeah, Dust is okay, I guess. CB2. Play CB2, reduce the power of all your opponent's units to 1, and then ping them for 1, and then they lose their ability as well, so they lose the intercept. So it's cool. They can deal with all the intercepts. You can ping 1 and throw out 4, and then lower the power as well. So Dust is cool. Dust is not amazing, but if you have it, play it, I guess. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile part of this video, and as per usual, I'll have some games after this, so I'll see you guys there. So for our first game, we are playing against Gears. Hi, I recorded this a long time ago, so I actually do not remember what happened in any of this game, so this will be a surprise to me as well. So I guess we'll go through this experience together. But this deck can play an early game, because even though you're playing a bunch of stands, you're not playing for the stands early game. But this deck actually can just slam down cards, because you have a bunch of cards in the deck that are not GB locked. Basically, the two guys that on play puts up the soul, and because those cards aren't GB locked, you can actually just slam them down early, thin deck out, hope you hit defense and stuff like that. So yeah, it's actually really nice that this deck can actually play early game, and I think that's actually really important in the current meta right now, is that your deck can actually commit cards early, because decks that just cannot commit early just feels really bad to play, because you need to hold all your pieces, and then the actual good decks right now can slam pieces down early, so just overall feels bad. But here, this is what you don't do against DI as Gears. Going first is give them 2 CB, because you never know if they win. So as you see there, Dran does not have anti-retire, or Dran Z does not have anti-retire. So yeah, for any aspiring Gear Chronicle players, I would highly suggest you do not give this deck 2 CB for no reason, just to push, because your Dragon could die for no reason, like this guy's Dragon. So yeah, there, my opponent actually got punished for trying to for aggroing me. Dragon is like an absolutely stupid starter, and a starter you actually want to keep alive at all costs and actually want to be able to use on your second turn. And that Dragon died. So even though I just don't have any CB right now, I am perfectly fine with that, because I think Dragon is more than worth killing. Is definitely worth killing to get rid of, because I think Dragon is just that good of a starter. And here I actually just pushed the 5, so I'm not in the best of spots. I also don't have soul either. And here I actually choose to not use the CB here to retire, because I'm just like, okay, this deck isn't exactly too CB heavy, but I still don't want to have no CB at 4, so that's why I didn't do it there, and just go reroll Van. Don't double instant, kind of sucks too, but we do heal down, so it's very nice. Heal out one of the CBs you end up using last turn, so it's really good. And here we see if my opponent actually has a ride or not, because a lot of the times you are using the Drain to actually find a ride, and he does not have a ride. He actually is stuck on Jet G, and being on a ride in gears that is not Jet Z is actually terrible. So sucks to be him, I guess. And he has a hard ride here too, so he is just put super behind because of that dead Drain that potentially could have gotten him a could have gotten him a what's his face, a Jet Z. So yeah, sucks to be my opponent, I guess. He calls the 2, and he leaps the 2 into a 3. And there's the Jet Z, just on the wrong circle, and then you can put that back into he does his thing. So I'll always quickly skip through my opponent's turn, not a hold it going, put calls out resist, calls out, add to hand. So I assume he's trying to add the a jet to hand, and having Jet G, even though Jet G is terrible to be on, having Jet G as a backup ride is still really important, because this Tiger here and then that Unicorn there don't actually work if you are not on a jet. So you actually do want to at least be on a jet of some sort to actually use them. And Jet G uses ETB, so that's why that is your backup for that deck. And I think my opponent actually didn't search for whatever reason, but that's fine. Not really my concern if they search or not. They go into first try Balaam as per usual. This is, like I said in the part of the video, even though I only have one pair, I will still always first try this thing unless I just don't have CB for whatever reason. Scharhrot Stride, Soul Charge 2 triggers kind of sucks. Just grab that and then put it back to soul, because I actually need soul for once. And this guy will actually refund me a card from the hand anyway, so CB1, draw 1, really nice. Draw an extra intercept. Call her down, she Soul Charges 2. Oh yeah, the main thing you're looking for with these is usually like a PG, so you can actually add it back to hand later. Whatever other piece you might want, and obviously the Weird Tiger Jaeger, because you put him into soul, you get to draw 1 out of it. So those are usually your main search targets for your put in soul cards. And here I'm just thinking if I want to turn a heal card into a PG, because I would like to save the starter for next turn. So yeah, we see the Balaam here, CB1, pop and intercept. Soul Charge 2. I actually do need Soul Charge all my triggers again, so that really sucks there. But what can you do? I think I'm just contemplating if I want to turn a heal into a PG, or just use the starter to grab a PG and something else to hand right now. That's probably what I'm contemplating. I would assume so. Yeah, so here I just sack off 2, grab the back PG, or actually no, I actually don't know what I'm thinking right now. But yeah, this is one of the other issues this deck has, is that sometimes you just don't have like the grade 1s in hand to stack off for the PG, so you have to like think like, oh, do I just use the starter here, or do I just land something down, just trade a heal for a PG, because obviously PGs are better guards than heals, obviously. So here I'm just like, it's fine, I'm just gonna save the starter for next turn, and hope these amount of guards is enough. And since he's on Jet G, it probably will be enough. We get a stand. Yeah, so you get the quad drive. You get an extra stand. This actual stand doesn't matter, but the power does, because this guarantees we can actually push the 5 here. It's the defensive, but we're still pushing the 5s. Very nice. And we pushed him the 5. And I think the main reason I didn't actually use the starter is because I wanted to save the grade 3 Scharhrot on the board as an end of turn cost for the recycle. So yeah, so you see here, I put the 3/3 into my soul to pop the thing in the back and put 3 cards back into three random cards back into my deck. And here, just quickly goes for Avenir. I don't know why he like leaped into that thing. This is something you actually want to call off of the Avenir, not actually have beforehand. So he goes on Avenir, he calls some cards, but this is not enough checks for him to kill me. And here go Blade Mouse. I'm pretty sure my opponent scooped here, but the instant your opponent's at 4-5 and second stride, you will always go Blade Mouse pretty much because he is like your game plan. He is how you're trying to end the game. So here we Soul Charge 2. And we add back this guy, the Guard Restrict guy. And here, we actually, I guess we do use it, huh? Because, I don't actually have the CB to actually use the, what's his face, the Gwyn. Because otherwise here, you'd call down Gwyn, you just call down Gwyn somewhere, just to, just to kill off intercepts and just still leave 2 in the front. So here, I put her down just to thin the deck out here, because you see here, I just jam blanks back into the deck, so that when I put stands back into my deck, or rather, when I would have put stands back into my deck, I'd have a higher chance of hitting stands because there's less blanks in the deck. So those Grey Shoes are also really good for that, just for thinning deck out on the last turn. Just get the blanks out of the deck so your deck has more stands to kill your opponent better, basically. So yeah, so that's it for the first game. And the second game against Angels, I actually like big Pepega'd here, so I guess this is a good example of what not to do in this deck. I think the biggest mistake I've ever made with this deck in this game is basically go into Blade Mouse and forget that he actually has a soul requirement to actually do his thing. Because I think in this game I went into Blade Mouse second strat and just like, oh yeah, Blade Mouse just doesn't have a requirement, I can just do whatever, right? And yeah, it turns out Blade Mouse has a 10 soul requirement to actually do the restand. I completely forgot about it, so I basically just wasted a right turn. But spoilers, this game I actually went to the Dust for game, so Dust isn't completely useless, I guess. Dust is there, and if you're like me and a Pepega, and forget about effects, or forget about cost and stuff. So yeah, my opponent is not playing 0 damage Angels, they're actually hitting my face. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But you know, on JP, 0 damage, at least not the month that I recorded stuff is, but the current month deck is dead. Those decks are dead, so pretty nice there. And the DI as the deck actually doesn't require that much CB to actually function. The only like super heavy CB cost you have is like Gwyn, realistically, and even if you don't even have to use Gwyn, he's not even like integral to the game plan. So DI actually is one of the decks that's like better against the 0 damage decks, if that's what concerns you, because turns out turns out you know, decks that don't need to function on CB is pretty good against decks that deny you CB. And here we just do Balaam things, pop the intercepts, bam, Soul Charge 2, and we just slam whatever down and we just go face. Not a whole lot to it. Yeah, put on a Chariot. Where the hell where did this card come from? Oh, I used the starter. I'm like, where did this come from? Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot of times you actually will just slam Chariot down and just sack the Chariot off immediately for the starter to just grab stuff back. That is something that you do a lot with this deck. Here we just definitely put that stuff back, put that stuff into my soul. And here we just slam 3 columns that all scale because actually no, I also forgot about this here, is that the grade 2 here actually does not scale because I don't have 8 soul for it. So I guess I probably saw that and just landed on the Gwyn instead and decided to just make 3 columns that scale and just go face like this instead. And here I probably went Van first just because I want to be greedy and see if I can play for double heal. I think probably one thought process here was. Got a stand, useless stand, doesn't do anything because I just swing the other column first. And just stand the booster just to save time so I don't have to like pass turn or anything. I just immediately pass after this thing swings. Yeah, so it gets a crit, whatever. And here, yeah, we just they Angels do Angels things, and then here's the big Pepega where I probably wasn't paying attention or just completely forgot about Blade Mouse because here's you'll see I actually have just no way to actually get to 10 soul. Or actually no, I definitely could have gone 10 soul. I just decided to not get 10 soul, I think, for whatever reason. Now let's see what Old Zero decided to do here. Yeah, I think I just couldn't math here. I think my thought process was, oh yeah, I can add this girl back and get from 8 to 10, but then I forgot that like I'm actually taking cards out of my soul. So yeah, so here I end up like basically breaking even on soul. And then I think I realized like mid battle phase that like, oh fuck, I screwed up. So yeah, so this turn was literally just a vanilla turn. I actually just did nothing this turn. So this is a very good example of what not to do with this deck. Actually, keep in mind you have soul requirements for some of these cards. Yeah, but here I just had the perfect board here, so if I actually just like didn't mess up the soul count, this was probably game. So because I would have put a bunch of things back, would have had the things required there. So yeah, if I just didn't screw up there, this probably would have been game. So just take that as you will. But they raft down, and we go into dusk just because I can, and I don't have an extra pair of Blade Master. So realistically, here another pair of Blade Master probably would actually be better than Dust. But you know, gotta flex the wallet sometimes, and we go into the big shiny Xerath Dragon that's worse than your GRs. So we'll use this. We grab something. I think we'll probably just grab the starter egg. Oh no, I just grabbed the guy. Yeah. Grab the starter so I can grab more intercepts. So I don't have intercepts in hand, and then put that in the soul so we can draw one. And we go for Dust. So here, I guess we'll show off what Dust does. He CB2s, next powers, and then pings. The worst part of Dust is that he doesn't even know the trigger effects if they hit a defensive. Unlike what's his face? Unlike what's that super card called? Purge. Would have been nice if he at least nulled trigger effects, but everyone hits a defensive. But if you null them from ping them from 4, they're still gonna be 10,001. Basically everything still hits. So yeah. So pretty good there. So we got the Gartrick dude. We grab another intercept, trade off the Great One for it, and we just swing face 3 times. Hopefully flip a stand or something. And I think I have like 1 stand left in my deck, so that's probably not going to happen. And here I'm just thinking like, what is the best way to do this? Find another weird tiger. And, so we'll see if we want to draw just because we can. But realistically, this is the turn we want to actually end the game. And the Great 2 I drew actually would not work because I'm not on a Darkness Vanguard. Dust does not have Darkness on it. And see, oh, I have no stands left in my deck. So yeah, this is actually just 3 swings, and I hope he dies. And spoilers, he did die. That actually does make a difference. So if I flip the last skill in my deck, that could have hit for a PG. Yeah, so PG check number 1. And obviously the 1 trigger is there, so we'll play for it. I don't think I got it, but I don't think it matters. I think he opponent died on the Dust swing, which so actually pretty surprising. Angel's having like 1 PG in hand, so yeah, there's that. So I guess that second game was a great example of what not to do. Actually, keep in mind how much cards you have in your soul. For obvious reasons, some of your cards have requirements. So yeah, that's it for this deck profile. Tell me what you think about this deck down below in the comments. And I guess again, tell me if you guys want to see Alt Mala or Asha or not. Even if I do it, I'll probably push it to next month to closer to when Global actually releases. I actually do want to cover some of the Bermuda deck. So yeah, if you guys want to see those, just let me know down below in the comments. Like and subscribe and all the good stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.